Hello, this is Beth Barsness. I'm one of the co-chairs of Minnesota Goes to College. And we are doing a short series of site coordinators highlighting their initiatives at their school. And this is Michelle Mazanek, college and career specialist at Osseo Senior High School, who's going to talk a little bit about College Knowledge Month at her school.
Okay, hello everybody. So I work at Osseo Senior High School, have been there for 21-ish years. I worked as a business teacher for 8 years and then have been doing college and career stuff since. Osseo Senior High, just to give you a little bit of context and background, we are just under 2,200 students. We kind of fluctuate all the time. 9 through 12, we welcomed our first 9th grade class 5 years ago. And our senior class is hovering right a little bit above 500 this year. About 82% of our students attend a 2 or 4 year college. The rest of our students either work, join the military, do an apprenticeship, something like that. So we do collect that data at the end of every year. We have 65% students of color and 63% of our students are on either free or reduced lunch. So I know we kind of went over this in the live presentation, but just a little bit of background too. So October has kind of traditionally been that College Knowledge Month. It's an opportunity to engage students in different college exploration activities. At Osseo Senior High, we have an AVID program, so this fits really well along with that initiative that we're working with. And then many colleges will waive application fees during this time, so it's really beneficial for your students to know about this time and for you to share information that's pertinent to the senior class, especially as they're applying for college at that time. So before the event, I do a couple of things. I just put ticklers in my calendar, and they're just on a yearly sort of thing so that I don't forget, oh, I have to do that, or oh, I have to do that. It's kind of how I manage my life, actually. So you'll want to make sure that you register your site. So it opens generally April 15th, and you want to make sure that you have stuff sort of solidified by September 15th, especially if you need volunteers for things. If you need volunteers, the things that I would use volunteers for are things like family teacher conferences. So maybe you have a couple of college admissions representatives there throughout the college or throughout the parent teacher conferences, so that if parents or families have questions, excuse me, there's someone there that can answer them. And really that's just a phone call or a quick email to that particular college. I try to do a kind of a different, like a community college and a technical college and a 4-year university, public and private. If you're looking to do a college fair of any sort, we do one through MINAC. And I think you can just reach out to their committee and say that you're interested in a college fair. There's also MACAT college fairs, which are a little bit bigger, but some of them only run in the fall and some only in the spring, so you want to investigate that a little bit. Doing a FAFSA completion event, we did our first one excuse me, we did our first one last year, and oh my gosh, what an incredible opportunity for families to come in, get the support that they need while they're doing their FAFSA, and I really didn't have to do anything except for get the people there. And then you want to set up any resources that you might need. So if you need to handouts, things for students, things for staff, things for families, you'll want to get those copies made and that sort of thing. Yeah. So this is just a kind of a snapshot of the different sorts of items that MDE and or the Office of Higher Education has on their website for you to use. Before you create something, I would say go out and take a look, because there's so many things that are just really like focused and also broad enough that you could use, that like any student, any senior student could use it. So there's calendars, there's pamphlet, there's handouts, there's FAFSA ID worksheets, there's planning checklists. There's just lots of different things that are available. So I would encourage you to take a look and see what would fit with what you're thinking about doing. There's also an opportunity to order some really nice full color guidebooks and posters for your counseling department, for maybe your AVID teachers, for your college and career readiness teachers. And it's all free of charge, so you want to check that out as well. And then on the right is just a list. This is kind of how the list looks when you're printing something off for students about who's waiving college application fees during that College Knowledge Month. So just a couple of things, student engagement and family engagement that I wanted to talk about how we do things. Our teachers post their college journey either in or right outside their classroom. So this is just like a small poster that says, here's where I went to school, here's what I majored in, like ask me about it. I think any little piece of the teachers in your building that can show, you know, they've all had this college journey and can answer questions for any student that might have them is good. Our senior math teachers do a unit on the cost of college, and kids look forward to it every year. It's really kind of cool. So they're really breaking down, like, do I need to spend this money or can I do it a different way? So our senior math teachers are really on board with that, which is great. And then our junior English teachers also do a unit on application essays or scholarship essays. We tie this together with a mock interview experience for all of those students as well, which is one of the highlights just of junior year. I think it's pretty cool. We do have Mondays. We have a different day of the week, wear different gear every day of the week, every week at Osseo. So Monday is wear your college and career gear day. So we encourage everybody to wear something that, you know, represents a college or a career that they're thinking about. So that's kind of a fun way to start off the week. We do have career speakers all the time to, you know, just hopefully broaden the scope of what students are learning about. You know, they don't just know about their parents and what their parents do, but they know that there are tons of other opportunities for careers, and to try to, you know, just kind of remove the blinders a little bit, I think is important. College Fair I talked about already. You can always ask to attend one that's nearby that's being held. If you look at the, again, MNAC or MACAC College Fair calendar, you can figure that out. A partner school of ours, Park Center, does a college panel. So like the U of M comes, and then Hamlin comes, and then Anoka Ramsey comes, or North Hennepin, and then maybe Dunwoody. And they all just donate a bunch of gear, and the juniors go into the auditorium, and there's just a panel where they all talk about their schools. And then as kids ask questions, they're tossing out gear. Again, anything to get students engaged in kind of this college going culture that we're trying to build. There's college trivia. We do that once a week. I send one email a year to college admissions offices and just say, hey, if you can spare a t-shirt or a cap or a notebook or, you know, a pack of pens or something, we like to give those away to the students who get the trivia right. And then the other thing that I was thinking about that we do to kind of engage students in is we try to do everything on campus at Osseo. So we do on-the-spot admissions events with at least a couple of colleges every year. North Hennepin is kind of in our backyard, so that's one of the ones that we do every year. But the kid, you know, will bring an application, will have their transcript available, their ACT score available. They waive the application fee. Sometimes colleges will actually even allow you to do AccuPlacer testing right there on your high school campus. And sometimes they can even do an orientation session. So in the span of a morning, a student who didn't have an option can be fully set to go, which is kind of cool. This is just some pictures of the things that were on the previous slide. So the Ask Me About It poster in the middle is one of my college posters that's hanging on my office door. The left picture is our college fair with MNAC that's held once a year, usually in our main gymnasium there. And we do it during lunch, so kids are able to, every kid is able to go if they wanted to go. And then just a couple of snapshots of our career speakers. I have a couple of former students from when I was teaching business who are now barbers and very successful. So they come in and give haircuts and demonstrations and talk about, you know, just their journey, which is very cool. And then Brad Fox from the new HGTV show Stay or Sell actually graduated from Osseo. So he came out and talked about his TV show and what it's like to be a realtor and remodel homes and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Use your resources with that as well. I send out probably 6 emails a year to the entire staff and just say, hey, we have a bunch of students who are interested in being an attorney. Do you know an attorney that would be interested in coming and talking to students? So it doesn't always have to be a personal connection. It can, you know, be someone that's connected to the staff that would invest in your student body as well. parent engagement. I think one of the things that I get really sort of selfishly irritated about is we put together these really great events, and we pump a lot of energy and effort into it, and then not many people show up, right? So I think to over communicate when you're doing things like this is ultimately one of the best ways that you're going to get more attendance and the message out there more. So we have a school messenger system that we use to send emails and phone calls to parents. I use that sparingly, but I definitely use it so that I know that every family, even if I'm handing something out an advisory for a student to say, hey, we have a college fair, I might send a school messenger home as well. We have college and career readiness nights during parent-teacher conferences, where again, we have college representatives, we might have a career panel, we have presentations on scholarships and that sort of thing. FAFSA completion event, over communicating about that, I think would be really important, just so everybody knows when it's happening. They can, make sure that they can be there to get help with their FAFSA if they need it. We have advisory at our school. We're lucky to have it once a week for 30 minutes. And so we do personality inventories and interest inventories in advisory that students must bring home and get a parent signature. So I know that a parent is seeing this and maybe, asking some questions about life after high school. And then trying to invite local media to those types of events, again, to just get the word out. And, media coverage about these sorts of events kind of helps us all, right? Because we can see, oh, well, hey, that school did that. I could probably do that. No big deal. So I would, that's just a simple email too. So finally, just some tips and advice. I think the more my administration knows about what my plans are and that I'm looking for their support, the better the event goes, right? So they might be having conversations with students that don't necessarily come in to see me and kind of ignore my messages, but they can say, hey, this is happening. Don't forget, you'll want to check this out. So letting them know what's going on and asking for their support, I think, is one thing that I sometimes forget to do and then get a little bit frustrated about. But it's, if they know what's going on, I'm sure they're happy to support you. It's a lot of times they just don't necessarily know what's going on. Asking teachers how they'd like to be involved and encouraging them to share their stories and journeys. Again, we have an advisory program at Osseo, and I think I'm a little underwhelmed by the amount of teachers who really kind of dig into it and present it to their students. And I think it's such a shame, because if there's one thing that every teacher in our building has done, it's gone to college, and they have a journey and they have a story. And so sharing that information with their students can, I think, be helpful. And they're building those relationships over 4 years. Trying to do something new each year, just something little, something small. Maybe you're doing a giveaway, maybe you're doing a panel, but building on the previous year's success. Maybe you can do something a little bit more detailed on something that you did a previous year. And finally, just a little bit of anything. College and career readiness is better than nothing at all. So even if you feel like, well, I can't do all those things that she's talking about, but I could maybe do this one thing, give it a try. You might be surprised at how many staff members really support kind of the effort, and then you can just build from there. So that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for sharing your ideas. Really appreciate it.